You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. It is 6:06 on a Friday morning, September 19th, 2025. It's another beautiful morning to have you here up north, live from Lake Wissota, from wherever you're spending your mornings, listening across the Civic Media Radio Network, catching us by podcast or through the website, or maybe watching us on social media right now, which is concerning to some people. I will explain in just a bit, but thanks for wrapping up your week right here. I got a question for you. Would you like to win some free Brewers tickets? It is the final installment of Free Ticket Friday. And in just a few minutes, less than 15, I will give you the keyword for today, for this morning, I should say, between now and 9 a.m., where you can text us using the Civic Media app, calling up one of the radio stations on the app, using the text feature, texting us the keyword, and I'll let you know about how you can go about winning that with the keyword coming up in just a bit. On this morning's program, we'll talk about Jill Underly, Wisconsin's Superintendent of Public Instruction, not exactly sugarcoating the current environment in her annual State of Education address Thursday at the Capitol. We'll have Kia Vakil from Courier Newsroom talking about some of the week's big stories, along with our Week in Review panel, which has some thoughts on the latest capitulation from corporate media and how it has emboldened Donald Trump to outright threaten the license of broadcasters simply for not liking what they say about him. And we'll ask the panel, what kind of role can journalists and their readers, listeners, and viewers play in pushing back against this latest example of a wannabe dictator doing whatever he wants, including making a mockery of the First Amendment. That coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. In our 8 o'clock hour, for struggling families on lower incomes, there are food banks, but some of those families are also in need of basic household items like diapers. There is a diaper bank in southeast Wisconsin that is holding a special campaign this week where donations are being matched and doubled. We'll talk to our friend Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission, which also helps women with basic hygiene supplies as well. Dr. Kristen Lyerly will preview her weekend show, and Mike Clemens will get a set for the Packers at Cleveland and the Brewers spending the weekend in St. Louis. First, however, the weather from meteorologist Brittany Merlot says a soaking weekend is on the way for some parts of the state as a slow-moving massive system has moved in, sending waves of rain over the next couple of days. The state forecast for today, breezy and cloudy, on and off rain, maybe some thunder. Highs in the upper 60s up north, mid 70s south, and east wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour. For tonight, the rain will be ramping up and could be heavy at times. Lows tonight in the mid 50s up north, around 60 to the south, with an east wind at 10 to 20 miles an hour. She'll have full forecast details less than an hour from now, but looking at the radar, you can really get an appreciation of this system. Essentially, it looks to be sitting somewhere over maybe south central Minnesota right now. And so Wisconsin, Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas, most of Iowa, parts of northern Illinois, big old spiral of rain. And it's one of those where, as Brittany said yesterday, it's going to be tough to predict exactly who's going to get rain, when, but it's just a whole lot of spotty rain activity. And so you just have to plan that you're going to be getting some rain at some point or another off and on throughout the course of the weekend. And again, Brittany has further details on that coming up in just a bit. But first, we head down to Madison Studio A2, where we see the concerned face of one Parker Olson. And
concerned.
Yeah, and then Alicia too. Alicia puts on YouTube, ooh, what's in the honeycomb design on your shirt?
Okay,
Be not afraid, people.
I was a little
I
confused about
actually
that.
do own shirts that do not have plaid designs on them. I do. I
Is
don't
this the
show them
only
off very
one?
much because you're going for comfort. Oh no, there's plenty of them. But today just kind of felt like I could put this one on, which is it's got a white base. It's a short sleeve, dress shirt. It's got a white base, but then it's got all these, I don't know, hexagons or whatever they are. Kind of has a honeycomb thing, and so it's got a kind of a beach theme. Some of them look like they have little palm fronds in
Oh, is
there,
that what they are?
or
Okay.
yep, or just the colors of the Caribbean, I guess you could say. So
Ah.
it's a bit of a little festive Friday fun
Yeah,
with
we
the wardrobe
gotta
today.
get styling a little here.
Yeah, I mean, there's many a time where I reach for something like a solid. I've got this solid orange shirt. It's very bright. It's very colorful, but at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's a bit much.
I appreciate actually avoiding
Mhm.
that. That
And as I've said before, again, between being a news anchor and being a legislator, I wore, just the standard suit and tie,
yeah.
a lot of different ties, a lot of different suits, frankly, but a lot of solid color shirts for years and years and years. So to be at this age now and have this job now where, the plaid shirt is kind of the requisite uniform, I'm okay with it. You
Eh,
know, I still like to dress up now and then, but
I do like dressing up,
comfort is
but
important. So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
that
I
works
am
well.
very, very appreciative of how laid back we are here.
There you go. Laid back is it. What's on the docket for this weekend for you?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Going down on Sunday, hanging out with a couple of friends, watching the Packer game. Hoping to have some wings. I hear we're stopping at a wings place, which I'm very excited about.
You're excited about a wings place?
I am more excited about the wings than I am about watching the Cleveland Browns play the Packers.
Oh,
Yes.
well, okay. Uh, does that include watching the Badgers as well as they take on Maryland tomorrow?
Yeah, that'll probably be part of my Saturday too. Yeah.
you, you
Uh,
don't sound too jazzed up about it though.
no, I
And,
can't say I'm exactly thrilled on that one.
and
That
here's
might be
here's the
second screen
thing.
content.
That's why we got Civic Media here for you.
Yeah.
We have saved a lot of people. Well, the Badgers have saved a lot of people the time of actually sitting glued to a TV watching the football team.
Yeah.
And basically put it on the radio and listen in the background as you do everything else that you want to do. And that's what you'll get as the Badgers open the Big Ten season tomorrow, hosting Maryland. You can hear the pregame starting at 9 a.m. on Civic Media stations in Richland Center, Amory, Wisconsin Rapids, and Ripon. And of course, the Packers, as Parker mentioned, Sunday, it's a noon game against Cleveland. Pregame begins at 10 a.m. Sunday on stations in Richland Center, Park Falls, Racine, Kenosha, and Watoma. So you'll be watching the Packer game with friends this weekend.
I'll be watching the Packer game with friends. The Badgers will probably be second screen content.
Yes,
Because
there's a lot of seconds. So you will do 2-screen viewing of things.
Oh
right?
yeah, we last weekend my dad and I we have the TV in the basement and we have my TV from my room. I brought my TV in my room down to the basement so that we could have two things going. And I'll tell you what, Whitewater plays against the number 6 team in the country tomorrow, and that will be the first TV content while the Badgers are on the other TV, kind of off in the corner, not being thought about nearly as much.
I'd be curious to know what percentage of the population is used to watching 2 screens at once, and how often they do it. And I mean this in both the TV way and the social media way. For example, I mean, I'm very much a dual screen watcher, let's say the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
And then on the other screen, I'm either watching, social media comment on things, or I'm yapping back and forth with my friends about it. But then there's the dual screen, the TV stuff. Last night being a perfect example. As often happens on Thursday, we go to our local watering hole and meet up with some friends and neighbors there. But this particular bar, like a lot of places, does not have, they depend on Dish or one of the other places that does not have an agreement with FanDuel Sports, formerly Bally, formerly FSN, or whatever the heck it is, because that group has been at an impasse with Dish Network and other things for years now. And that's why I could never have something like say a Dish Network, because I mean, if you can't watch the Brewers, why bother? So while a lot of people were watching the Cubs and the Reds up on the TVs because they were part of a national TV game on Fox last night, other folks are gathered around me
on your phone,
on my iPhone, because I've got the Spectrum on there. I just turned that puppy sideways. I set it on the bar in front of me, and I had people watching there.
Yeah, you and I are the same, Pat. We used to do that a lot while we were eating dinner in Whitewater. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. So there's a lot of dual screen stuff. Now, speaking of that Brewer game, Quinn Priester starts the game last night.
It's perfect.
Perfect through 4 innings, 12 men up, 12 men down, including 6 straight strikeouts to begin the game. And he still got a no decision in this one. Yeah. Which was really rough. The Brewers would eventually come back to win. And that's the thing. Even though he got a no decision, when Quinn Priester is pitching, whether he gets a decision or not, the Brewers have won 19 in a row. Yeah, when you start the game like that, that really helps.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. I think I read yesterday that if the Brewers get one more win with him starting, it'll tie Roger Clemens' record of 20 wins when they pitch. Yeah,
that would be cool. Yeah, and Christian Yelich, he's not doing so bad. He hit RBI number 100 yesterday. 100 runs batted in. First time he's done that since 2018, when he had 110 ribbies and was named the National League MVP. So here he is, triple digits. Once again for him. So, that comeback from back surgery. I'm one of those. I was one of them with the back surgery. I thought, well, that's it. Via con Dios. Have a good retirement. I was wrong.
I'm glad you were wrong, Pat.
I am too. Very much so. Jacob Mizorowski will start tonight in St. Louis, and that will get us going on a 3-game weekend series for the Brewers against St. Louis, and the pregame will get going at 6:40. On stations in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Racine, Park Falls, and Hayward. All right, while we're talking baseball, let me give you the keyword for this morning. Here's the thing: there's only one homestand left. It's next weekend when Cincinnati comes to town, and so for Free Ticket Friday, you have a chance to win 4 tickets to the game next Friday night when the Brewers take on the Cincinnati Reds. So get that Civic Media app out and get set to text us this keyword until 9 a.m. Blue, like the color, BLUE. Text us blue, and you will be in the running. There will be more keywords throughout the weekend, more keywords throughout the day. And so more chances to enter. And then one of the day's entries will be chosen at random to win those tickets. All right, very quick, because we're going to have Kia Vakil coming up next, and then today's history lesson. Just a quick note that Dr. Jill Underly, the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, held her State of Education address yesterday at the Capitol, as reported here by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Cleo Krejci. And the poll quote out of it is quite simple. This year, the biggest schoolyard bully in our public schools is our own federal government. She was talking about the hostility that the Trump administration and the Republican Congress has. And frankly, with Governor Tony Evers stepping back, look for Underly to be in a secure position to give the most unvarnished review of how the legislature is treating our children and undermining our public schools. She criticized the use of the U.S. Department of Education funding as some kind of a bargaining chip. And of course, she came back to the near generation of shortchanging our public schools by the legislature, forcing school boards to ask local taxpayers to hike their own property taxes just to cover basic operating costs as the legislature passes the buck. Underly had a lot more to say. We are going to hear about it from her directly next Wednesday in our weekly hometown segment at 7:30 from Dr. Underly. From the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota, thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
All right, let's get into it. Part of our week in review, as we do Fridays here on the show, with Kia Vakil, Courier Newsroom's national political editor, joining us back home in Los Angeles. Kia, hello, how are you?
I'm well, Pat. How are you?
I'm good. Past couple of weeks, you've been on. I was going to say on the road. Well, no, it wasn't the road. You were in the air. You were overseas.
Yes.
You were over in Europe. Where was it? Vienna and Munich were the highlights.
No, I went to Berlin, Vienna, Prague, and Krakow. So I was
Okay.
abroad for a little over 3 weeks, and I haven't traveled in a little while, and I just wanted to do some travel and take a break from the state of the news.
I'm very much an advocate of travel and getting away from the headlines for a while, because you got to plug back in. You can't unplug full time. And that's always my biggest fear, is that too many people have unplugged and said, well, you can't change anything anyway, even as, the First Amendment is being shredded and things like that. So now that you're back, let's get into things here. And boy, last week I would have said the overarching theme, because of the Charlie Kirk murder, was this wrestling of how do you talk about the legacy of somebody with so many negatives and yet be against political violence. That to me seems to be a distant memory now, because the tour of vengeance that Republicans have gone on have now taken us onto a completely different plane of freedom of expression versus what wannabe autocrats want to do. That seems to be the overarching theme this week to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're completely shredding the First Amendment. And any arguments that Trump, J.D. Vance, all these guys, top to bottom, right-wing activists have made about free speech or hate speech or freedom of expression, turned out to be total BS. And that's not shocking to me. And to be clear, there are some voices on the right who are principled and, pushing back on this just all-out assault on teachers, college administrators, college students, airline pilots, journalists, political pundits, people, everyone who are saying things, that are, maybe ugly and celebrating Kirk's death and that I find distasteful, to folks who are quoting his own words and just posting that they didn't like his views and, condemn his death but didn't like his views. All those people are getting doxxed, fired, harassed, investigated by the government, from Texas to Ohio to Virginia, all over the country. And it's a modern day McCarthyist Red Scare. It's cracking down on people's freedom of speech. You can disagree with that speech. And look, I'm not going to pretend like the left has always gotten that completely right either. You could probably point to some overreach, but we've never seen anything like this under Democratic leaders, where they're using an arm of the state and working with really extreme activists online to harass and target and essentially encourage people to snitch on others for their posts online. And it's extremely ugly. It's extremely concerning. And then even worse is we now have corporations who are censoring, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel, his late night show being pulled off the air, whether it's, again, reporters being fired or benched or whatnot, or companies that are just afraid of how to cover this in terms of not engaging with his views or whitewashing them. It's terrifying, the moment we're in. This is the sort of thing I read about in history books growing up and being like, oh, gee, I'm glad we're past that. We turned out, we're not past it. It's reared its ugly head again. And, I think most Americans probably think this is too far and find this to be, I think most people broadly don't like political assassination, don't think he should have died, maybe had a lot of people disagreed with him, a lot of people agreed with him. But I also think most people do not think this crackdown is appropriate. But that doesn't really matter. We're not in a majoritarian country anymore.
No, and when you mentioned McCarthyism, again, being from Wisconsin, who'd have thought we'd well, a lot of us would have thought we'd have the next McCarthy coming from Wisconsin, that in Derek Van Orden. But of course, you monitor, all the Courier newsroom outlets around the country, and so while he may be very special for the hundreds upon hundreds of tweets that he's put out, I'm sure that in plenty of the other states, like you're hinting at, there are members of Congress or other elected officials who I think in an equal measure, history will not be kind to when we look at, defending our freedom of speech in this country.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's Governor Greg Abbott in Texas celebrating the firing of teachers, college professors, students being expelled because they made like a distasteful video. Again, like these are public institutions; they are covered by the First Amendment. Those are lawsuits waiting to happen.
Oh yeah.
They're going to get sued for a lot, and they deserve it. If and when the courts still uphold the First Amendment, which I think, depending on which courts you wind up in, some will and some won't. But I think at the end of the day, for as far gone as the Supreme Court is, if you essentially say the First Amendment doesn't apply, then you're asking for something much uglier than what's happening, right? You're asking for people pushing for a new constitution, a constitutional revolution. Like, you can't say the First Amendment doesn't apply, and that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Although perhaps the most chilling thing I would have heard all week, you just uttered when you dropped the little phrase, depending on which court you go to. You never thought you'd have to say that about First Amendment rights in this country. This week was supposed to be about other things. We are still careening toward another government shutdown. The budget hasn't been resolved. The Epstein files remain covered up. I mean, there's still actual work to be done in D.C., and I'm betting you're going to say very little progress was made on any of it this week.
Yeah, no, the government shutdown we're barreling towards in a little under 2 weeks. At this point, I'd put money on the fact that it's going to happen. You have Republicans who have no interest in negotiating, even though they need Democratic votes. You have Democrats who are sort of on the same page, but not exactly presenting a really strong argument. So it's just a mess.
There will be a lot to cover over these next couple of weeks. And we, again, now, as the Courier staff grows and the team grows, we'll have Cam Stevenson coming from Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, every Tuesday for us, and Kia Vakil helping us wrap up the week on Fridays. Kia, thank you as always for everything. Glad you're home safe. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Back with today's history lesson in just a moment. You're up north.
Seems I hear your voice calling, it's all right.
Oh, today's history lesson, we start with Brooke Benton, or Greg Bach doing his best, Brooke Benton.
A rainy night in Georgia.
Brooke Benton, born this day in 1931. He had several R&B hits in the 50s and 60s. He actually put 50 songs on the Billboard charts as a singer or songwriter, but then he had a comeback hit in 1970 with Rainy Night in Georgia. Listen to this. I could listen to that voice. Here we go. Listen to this.
Neon signs flashing.
Come on.
Taxi cabs and buses passing through the night.
All right, I'm done admiring singers for the moment. Here's Greg Bach. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing well, man.
Hey, there we go.
For the show and talk about musical memories.
There.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good.
All right. You got any big plans for the weekend?
No, not really.
Good. I love hearing that.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm thinking because, it's gonna. I'm gonna try. If the weather is handling itself, I'm gonna try to do some stuff out in the yard and kind of start to wind those projects down. But if not, then I'm gonna sit and hang out with my wife and my dog.
Always fun to do, Let's see. I'm supposed to ask. Tony asks if you're still using your CPAP machine and how you're feeling.
Oh, good Lord. Of course I am. I use it every. Here's the thing is, if I don't use it, it's because I've fallen asleep and I didn't get a chance to put it on. But it is a part of the every night experience.
Very nice.
Very important.
Samesies. Thank you.
Good. Good.
Okay.
You guys,
All right.
your good sleep.
Yeah. On this day in 1796, George Washington delivered his farewell address. On this day in 1982 was the first documented use of emoticons, which was simply a smiley face made with a colon and a dash and a parentheses. And it was used on the Carnegie Mellon University bulletin board system. Because apparently nobody thought to do that on a typewriter.
I mean, yeah.
I'm calling BS on that one.
I don't
Wow.
I don't like the hyphen for the nose. That makes me a little uncomfortable.
Well, that's because you see young kids like you grow up in this era where emoticons, I mean, you get the whole emoji. It's animated, like the little face winks at you and everything. Back in our day, we just had to type a colon and a dash and a parentheses. And that was all we got. That's all we got for choices.
Colon, parentheses. That's where I stand.
Oh, okay. Just don't want the note. You're anti-nose.
I'm anti-nose.
Or you just
type in the letter, I'm smiling at you right now, which is very weird.
I just type out laughing out loud.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what I'm talking about.
I send a voice note of me laughing.
Let's go to 1960, 65 years ago today. The number one song was by Chubby Checker.
Come on, baby. Let's do the twist.
That song had some staying power. It came up the charts again 2 years later. It would become the first single ever to hit number one 2 different times. Probably because it's the only dance most of us can do. Just swivel your hips, bend your knees.
He's got Let's Twist Again, the twist,
yes,
slow
the peppermint
twisting,
twist, yeah,
the peppermint twist.
Oh
he has a lock on the twist-based economy when it comes to music.
The twist-based economy. Yeah, you ride that horse until it can't run no more. Yep, good for him. On this day in 1893, New Zealand became the first country to grant all women the right to vote. Happy birthday to singer Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers. He is 85 years old today. Talk about singers with deep voices. So Bill Medley and the late Bobby Hatfield formed the Righteous Brothers. Bill Medley grew up listening to Ray Charles, Little Richard, and B.B. King. In fact, the term blue-eyed soul was coined by a Philadelphia DJ to describe the sound of Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield.
Wow.
And Medley said the name Righteous Brothers came from a group of black Marines at the El Toro base who liked their style and referred to them as Righteous Brothers. Here's the thing about Bill Medley. He just turned 85.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, as an 84-year-old, he released his latest album. He's still recording albums.
God, I've done nothing with my life.
Well, no, hang on, Greg. This might be awful. We don't know. Is this a good album?
No. Why would you say that about an 85-year-old music legend?
We have already talked about how some of the guys have to hang them up, and they don't hang them up. They still tour. I'm just saying.
This just in, Parker hates old people doing music.
I would like to write my formal apology to the FCC.
Yes, please.
I understand.
Please, before we get yanked here, you upset an old white guy. You're in trouble now, pal.
Topical.
All right. Greg, I'm going to play from this next birthday. I'm just going to ask Parker to start the music. Parker's moving around. Is there a mouse running around your feet? What's going on there?
Honest to God, I'm pretty sure a spider was just crawling up my leg. I
don't even know how to respond. You almost jumped up on the stool like in the cartoons when there's a mouse in the house and lift up your house dress.
Okay, I'm sorry. You want the song now?
As I was saying, Greg,
yes.
I'm going to have Parker, now that he's composed himself, play this next one, our next birthday boy. And I just want to see how long it takes you to guess who this is based on the guitar stylings and then the singing. So, Parker, hit today's birthday boy.
Yeah.
I'll give it just a second. Wait for the lead guitar here. It's about to come in. There we go. Now, if I tell you it's Chic, does that help?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Nile Rodgers.
Nile Rodgers is 73 years old today, member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was with Chic. Then he became a legendary record producer. His records have sold more than 500 million copies. Nile Rodgers is 73 today.
He's still amazing.
Yeah. I have not one, not two, but three notes here about the year 1970. It was on September 19th, 1970, that Diana Ross, after leaving the Supremes, got her first #1 solo hit. Parker, you got to hit the button here. I'm pointing at you.
He's looking for the spider, Pat. He's looking for the spider.
There ain't no mountain high enough for Parker to get up and away from the spider.
Man, that FCC joke really came back to bite me quick. I didn't know they could send in
something
spiders.
Just like the spider.
Yes, but a bump. Okay, so there's Diana Ross with Ain't No Mountain High Enough, her first solo hit this day in 1970. Also on this day in 1970, again, we're back to doing series premieres here, the premiere of The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh.
And I didn't know whether we wanted to do a sing-along, Greg. You know, who can turn the world on with her smile? Let's see. And happy birthday to Frida Payne. The singer is 83 years old, and she had a 1970 hit, Band of Gold. Happy birthday to Trisha Yearwood, who turned 61 years old today. If she and Garth Brooks been married now, boy, I bet that's.
I think like 10,
they've been
15
solid.
Than that.
Yeah,
yeah. Or as he refers to himself, Mr. Yearwood. I love that.
Mr. Yearwood, yes.
Let me see.
I
How
like
long
that.
have Garth and Trisha been married? I love that, Google. Thank you very much, Google. 19 years, almost 20 years.
Good for them. That's fantastic.
Oh my goodness! All right, there you go. Longer than I thought. Good.
Here's another birthday today. Jimmy Fallon is 51 years old today and still employed, at least for another day. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
This day in 1985, you remember this one, Greg, when Tipper Gore and other political wives formed the Parents Music Resource Center to get labels on albums that had explicit language?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Frank Zappa, John Denver, and others testified at congressional hearings about obscenity and rock music.
Dee Snider.
Dee Snider as well. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why you have labels, is because Al Gore's wife and others said we got to slap a label on these things.
And they fought it tooth and nail, and they really it was a big deal. And then what they come to find is that when you put the labels on the records, it would sell more.
Exactly. They figured that out. Like they stopped fighting it. We're like, okay, this will work. Yeah, sure. We'll put a label on everything. On this day in 1987, the Grateful Dead hit number 10 with Touch of Grey, their only song to hit the top 10 on the Hot 100. On this day in 1989, a new series began with Neil Patrick Harris as a teenage physician. That's right, Doogie Howser, MD, premiered this day in 1989 on ABC and is still around. Doogie Howser, or Neil Patrick Harris, he's got some staying power.
Absolutely. Well, he went away for a while. Everyone's like, oh, who's he? And then he came back. And we're like, oh, we love him. It's always what happens.
Yes.
There's a star. They're amazing. We love them. We're sick of them. We say no thank you. And then we act like we never saw them. And then we're like, oh my gosh, where did you go? And they're like, yeah, you stopped booking me. So also
that's on you.
Two things. I feel like if you took a picture of Parker when he was younger, like he was 12, he would look very Doogie.
Oh, very Doogie. Yes.
Yeah. Also, Parker, there's a spider on your shoulder.
Holy cow.
Greg. Shaking in my boots here.
One more tune here. On this day in 1999, the Chicks became the first group in the history of the Billboard 200 album chart to have a country album debut at number 1 with the album Fly.
Yes.
Fly not only had this song, Cowboy Take Me Away, it had Goodbye Earl, If I Fall, You're Going Down With Me, Ready to Run, and Sin Wagon. I'll still listen to that album front to back.
Yes, I was going to say, I love all of the Chicks' music. I celebrate their entire discography, but I think Fly may be a perfect album.
Oh, without a doubt. And and no wonder it debuted at number 1. They were riding a wave of popularity, and people took to that album right away.
Yeah.
On this day in 2011, one of those TV things that you don't know if it's going to work or not, Ashton Kutcher debuted on 2.5 Men, replacing Charlie Sheen. And it worked. It hung around for I think 4 more seasons.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a weird show.
And 1 year ago today, Shohei Ohtani created the 50-50 Club. He became the first player in baseball history to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a single season. That guy's better than you and me and everybody else who's ever
Yeah, but
played
the
baseball.
Brewers swept them.
Yeah. They can't take that away from us.
Nope.
Today is National Butterscotch Pudding Day. I haven't had butterscotch pudding since I was like 10 years old.
Wow.
Today is this is both Concussion Awareness Day and National Overthinkers Day. Coincidence?
Of course.
I don't know.
Wow.
And finally,
that's a real thinker.
it is a real thinker, yeah. And finally,
That was
Greg,
deep.
it is National Talk Like a Pirate Day.
I bet you there's pirates who talk like me. Just like, hey guys, would you like to go plunder the booty over there? We'd like to get some.
I knew Greg was just not gonna go along with this.
We're
one.
gonna steal this ship and all its wares. And frankly, I don't like the misrepresentation of me in TV and films. Thank you very much. I may be a pirate, but I'm also a person.
I'd love to just hear him go, "Hey, you guys, we're taking over your ship." Okay.
Let me squeeze past you.
Please squeeze past you here as we walk.
Hey, my name is Bluebeard. I'm here to take your stuff. Yeah.
Craig Bach. You can hear him on Matt and Air on Air weekdays 9 to 11, right after this program on the Civic Media Radio Network. Much more ahead in the next couple of hours of these mornings with Pack Right Low, powered by Up North News. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Are we gonna listen to this for a full minute, Pat?
Oh no.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
On behalf of Civic Media, we'd like to apologize to the spider that caused such disruption that we couldn't even go into the commercial break without busting out. Did you ever find the little bugger? Turn your microphone on.
And I
Parker.
forgot to turn my mic. It is
You are
Friday,
having a
fellas.
day.
Wow.
Jeez,
Um,
just
If there's anybody listening in the Madison studio, please bring Parker some chamomile tea.
we're gonna call the day. We're just gonna end this whole show right now.
Whistle! Whistle!
There we
Thank
go.
you. There we go. Yes, we have the Roy Kent coffee mug. It is Friday. Shall we? Well, let's first do the what's that thing called? Free Ticket Friday. See, it's happening over here too. Free Ticket Friday. Let's get that keyword out there. You could win 4 tickets to see the Brewers against Cincinnati next Friday night. Text us the keyword blue, BLUE, like the color. Text blue until 9 o'clock. Greg, would you hazard a guess that you'll have a keyword as part of Matt and Air on Air, a different keyword later on?
Oh, most definitely. We will have a keyword for you at when we're on the air. We're on from 9 to 11. We generally, we like to tease it a little bit. But yes, just like with Pat's show today, this morning, when we give you our keyword, you're going to pull out the Civic Media app and you're going to text it in via the Civic Media app. Remember, spelling counts.
Yes, it does. BLUE, blue is the keyword until 9 o'clock this morning. All right, I got my Harvey Levin oversized mug here. Let's pretend that this is the TMZ newsroom as Parker pitches the entertainment story of the day. Parker, what have you got?
Star Wars Starfighter. Aren't you so excited, Pat? We got a new Star Wars movie coming out, and it's star-studded, which is really weird for Star Wars. It has Ryan Gosling starring in it.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes me
Ryan
uncomfortable.
Gosling in Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's
Okay,
also got a bunch of others, too.
And is that the name of it, Starfighter?
Yeah, Starfighter. It
Yes.
takes place like 5 years after the most recent trilogy end.
So
5
5 years
years-
after Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's what
Okay.
they're doing now with some of these properties. They're doing like it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. It's 5 years after. Well, also it's a long time ago. So 5 years means nothing in Star Wars world.
In the galaxy far, far away, where
Yeah.
time is a flat circle. What's
Where-
5 years anyway?
Where they can conjure the science to fly through space and have laser weapons. They're like, when did this take place? Long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Far away.
You got
Don't worry
Alicia's
about it.
attention. She's like, "What? Ryan Gosling?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
I assume that is a good thing that she's expressing. Here's hoping, but a new Star Wars, she says. "Eee, okay, so maybe
Exactly.
not so much the Ryan Gosling, maybe yes on the Star Wars. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, so we'll get a feel for where people are on a star-studded Star Wars Starfighter. Is this something that is just getting going in production, or have they already shot it and we know when it's coming out?
It is in production, I think, right now. I saw a picture of Ryan Gosling on set, and it feels as weird as you would think it would feel for him to be in a Star Wars costume.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of Star Wars movies and TV shows with stars in it, with known actors in it.
I was going to say, from
Really?
the beginning, Alec Guinness, as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original movie.
Okay,
He
I
was a
guess.
huge star.
Yeah.
I guess
He made
I just wasn't
$95 million off of that movie from the back end deal he did with the points. Whew.
Oh.
He's a smart Jedi.
Hey.
All right.
He's
All right. What
wise.
else we got?
What else we got? Well, Stephen Colbert made a little pitch to potential employers while he was at the Emmys. He brought a headshot, and he asked if Harrison Ford could get the headshot to Steven Spielberg and maybe get some jobs lined up for him.
Stephen Colbert is the next Indiana Jones.
No, I don't think I'm not getting that one.
All right.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll,
I don't know.
we'll workshop it maybe. So what do we think between Stephen Colbert, now Jimmy Kimmel, and Jon Stewart? Do we think that any of them are coming back to like a network TV show, or might we see some kind of like an independent project going forward? Greg, if you were, especially, let's take Jimmy Kimmel out of it because Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart have more of a history together.
True.
Well, what are the odds that they don't just say, well, I guess we're retired, we'll cash the checks, as opposed to coming back with something?
I think that Jon Stewart likes his gig at The Daily Show right now. He only has to work 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And I think Stephen Colbert still has something in him. I think he still has something to say. I don't know if it'll be, I know it can easily be a podcast because that's just the easiest pivot, but I'd like to see him on television. There's something about Stephen Colbert, especially on network television, it still has some push for me personally, but I think the easiest thing for Colbert to do is say, all right, pack it up, pack it in, and here we go. We're going to go start a podcast.
Yeah. Alicia writes, wait, what? Has Jon Stewart been canceled too? No. I just meant because Jon Stewart's only working that 1 day a week, that, maybe they could do something. Tony puts up, no more corporate media. Well, I mean, yeah, the mega corporations. I, for one, am happy to be working with the corporate media that is Civic Media. That's a fine corporation, a public benefits corporation, may I add, as well.
I really enjoy working for Civic Media and really all of its affiliates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Stephen Colbert. You want one more entertainment story to close out the week?
Oh, sure. Did you realize that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged yet? No, you didn't know that? Well, now you know.
That's not your story.
No, it's not the story. It's not the story.
All right. What is the story?
Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, was asked if Taylor Swift might be a halftime show, and he said, just maybe, which I think is kind of baffling.
Why, you think he was taking a dig at it, like she might not be good enough?
I think it's weird that she hasn't done one yet, given she's been a massive star for like decades. Decade.
She kind of doesn't need it. I mean,
No.
she's had her own thing going on.
Also, the logistics of it all, I wouldn't be surprised if it just didn't work out. And also, I think that people would lose their minds if she did. Like, there's such a weird like I need tough and cool for my halftime show.
Can you imagine though that if she was, and all these Swifties got tickets to the Super Bowl, but just for her? So like during the Super Bowl,
They just left.
they're all in the concourse and milling around and scrolling on their phones, and there's like half empty stands for the Super Bowl, and then they all come rushing back in for the halftime show.
Yeah.
And then after Taylor's done, out they go again. That would be an amazing scene. And it's exactly what would happen. That's why Tay-Tay is not doing the Super Bowl show. Greg Bach, we'll see you at 9 o'clock for Matt and Air on Air, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I'd love it. Come on
Yeah.
by.
All right. We'll be happy to.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful weekend. We've got our Week in Review panel coming up right after the news. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.